go of the shore. Float into the mystery. You have all you need. It's inside of you. Your heart will be your compass. Lift your sails in faith. Need I say more? Wow. It's amazing how sometimes songs just nail it, you know? And in the face of life's constant changes and the noise of the world, how in the heck do we stay centered and true to our values and true nature? How do we awaken from those thoughts that keep us distracted from our true essence so we can experience our wholeness, even in the constant flow of life's comings and goings? The great Reverend Michael Beckwith said, take back your mind. That's how you do it. Take back your mind. Because I think it gets hijacked sometimes by the news, by the media, by social media, whatever. We can maintain our self-awareness through our spiritual practices. How many times have I said that? But it's so true. Through meditation, sitting in silence, spending time in nature, mindfulness, breath, being in gratitude, all of that. Dr. Ernest Holmes, our founder, said, nothing can hurt or disturb my spiritual self. I am free and safe. All plans and ideas can wait until later. My mind is quiet, calm, and deeply still, and my body rests in the still silence of the spirit. Change is constant. The world can feel like a sea of constantly changing tides, and so how do we ride the waves? How do we navigate all of this? We read in our book, you can't stop the waves, but you can learn to surf. Think about that. This is surf school. You're learning to surf here. I love that idea. So we all know about the eye of a hurricane, which is the most recognizable feature found in a hurricane, within a hurricane. And the eye is the center. Skies are often clear above the eye and the winds relatively light. It's actually the calmest section of any hurricane. The eye, the center, is so calm because the strong surface winds that converge towards it can never reach it. It's called the Coriolis force, which deflects the wind slightly away from the center, causing the wind to rotate around the center of the hurricane, the eye wall, leaving the exact center calm. What storm are you living in? What's spinning around you? Truly. Think about that. Because the metaphysical interpretation is in all the comings and goings of what's happening around ourselves and in the world, our true essence is calm. Our true essence is the eye of the storm. The eye of the hurricane. And the surface winds of life can't touch our center. From this center, this calm eye, we can more easily, navigate our challenges by calling upon our connection to that infinite intelligence within us. I am calm amidst the storm, and I go with the flow of life. Repeat after me. I am calm amidst the storm.
I am calm amidst the storm.
And I go with the flow of life.
And I go with the flow of life.
Just take a breath with that. So some of us just finished, as Eric mentioned, a 6-week book study with this wonderful book. I highly recommend it, called The Art of Being, 101 Ways to Practice Purpose in Your Life. And I'm just going to read a story that he has in here that's very apropos to what I'm talking about. This is called Plateaus, Peaks, and Valleys. He says, during a conversation one day with one of my spiritual teachers, I told him I had been stuck in the yuck on my spiritual path and was feeling depressed about it. Stuck in the yuck. I know none of you ever are stuck in the yuck. Well, his teacher smiled and said, I have some good news for you and I have some bad news for you. The bad news is life is but a continuum of plateaus, peaks, and valleys that just go on and on and on until the day you leave the planet. And the good news is life is but a continuum of plateaus, peaks, and valleys that just goes on and on and on until you leave the planet. The point he was making was that regardless of how I choose to see it, life is a journey, a cycle of ups and downs and in-betweens. And he says, I would never get to the ups without also going through some downs and in-betweens along the way. More likely, anyone reading this or hearing this has at one time or another been stuck in the valley experience. And you may feel you're stuck in the valley right now, overshadowed by a condition or a problem. It could be emotional or physical. That's where the good news comes in. You don't have to stay there. There is another peak that lies directly ahead of you, and you just need to keep moving through the valley and refuse to take up residence in that's not serving you. Just refuse. The reality is, he says, is that all of the peaks and valleys we experience happen in our mind. It has little to do with conditions, it's how we're perceiving them. Yeah. Don't ever confuse wholeness and a life worth living with a condition. Wholeness is a state of being in which we realize we're one with God, irrespective of where we are on the journey. Even now, I am whole. Even in my illness, I am whole. Even in my sense of lack, I am whole. Even in my confusion, I am whole. Keep coming back to that truth. It's our awareness of infinite omnipresence in every moment that determines if we're down in the valley or up at the peak. So I have some good news for you, and I have some bad news for you. And you get to choose which one it will be. It's up to you. So we all have what's called a storyteller within us. You know that little voice? Which likes to keep us separate from the truth of who we are. Bless its little heart. It creates what are called spells and clouds of struggle that can prevent us from connecting with our true source and power. And it keeps us from knowing that everything is actually okay. It's all okay. Just say that to yourself silently. It's all okay. I'm okay. Because the storyteller can create a disconnect to who we truly are at our nature. And we can wonder, well, gosh, how long does it take for these clouds of struggle to dissolve? How long does it take these old beliefs to go away? Well, as Stephen Levine says, this is the work of a lifetime. Oh, gosh. So again, our spiritual path is a journey. It's not a destination. And every little step of intention we take in the right direction is meaningful. And it keeps us in the eye of the storm. It keeps us in center. Tiny remembrances of the divine connection will always, always, always bring us refreshment and renewal, inner renewal. That's priceless. You know, I liken this a lot to, it's like a dance. We remember who we are and we forget. We remember who we are and we forget. We contract or we expand. We contract or we expand on a daily basis. Remember Reverend Sarah a few weeks ago said to pay attention to what your body tells you. When you're going into something or you ask yourself a question, is it a yes or is it a no? Pay attention. And once we get that we are never disconnected from the source of God, we see that those clouds of struggle that keep us in the dark will become less if we become more curious. We begin to question in an open way and willingly step more into the flow. We can remember, you know, we can remember every moment to turn our challenges over to a higher power, to the one presence, so that its wisdom can guide us and support us. Are you up for that? Having some guidance? Like a little private Uber driver. Let's affirm, repeat after me. I turn my challenges over to life and I am in the flow.
I turn my challenges over to life and I am in the flow.
Another book study we did a while back was What's in the Way is the Way, excuse me, by Mary O'Malley. Another great little book. And in this book, she talks about 4 lets, L-E-T-S. Let life, let it be, let it go, let go. And these each give us a choice to use our minds to control life or to connect with life through our mind and heart and be in the flow. So you either give your attention to all the stories and spells in your head that make up those clouds of struggle, or you allow your life to unfold, giving it compassionate attention and interacting it in a more compassionate way. Because there'll always be challenges. And I know some of you are in that storm right now, through something that's going on in your life. But if we can learn through our practices to relax enough to just dance with life rather than just living from our seeming limitation and spells, that voice. It says, I'm not good enough. You'll never be enough. It's hard. Whatever that thing is for you, we all have that little voice. So the 4 lets. Number 1, let life. So many times, I don't know about you, but we react to something so fast that we don't have a clue of what's going on inside. We just react. Let life is a doorway out of our core reaction through the art of turning our challenges over to that higher power and acknowledging that we're caught and that we feel powerless. So rather than being completely lost in our reaction, we can consciously acknowledge that we're caught. Did you get that? So, in other words, you can just say to yourself, wow, this thing really got a hold of me. Interesting. I'm really caught up in this thing. Because that creates a willingness or a space to ask for clarity. And you can just say, I ask for clarity around this. Why am I so upset? What might be a way through this? Open-ended questions are powerful because they create an opening for something to shift and change. So take a deep breath and contemplate for a moment the possibility that you are not living this dance of life alone. That you have a silent partner in that divine nature of you. Ernest Holmes said, we can be so caught with fear, doubt, and uncertainty that it becomes necessary for us to take time every day to reaffirm our union with the great outflowing livingness of life. This is the purpose of prayer and meditation. God has already made the gift. It's up to us to receive it. The number 2 let it be, is about allowing, not resisting what's happening, so that our interactions can calm down. Allowing. This is important because we're not trying to get away from something we're experiencing. We're turning toward it again with curiosity, which gives it some space. Allowing knows that everything that tightens us is a growth opportunity. So become a tightness detective. Notice, am I living life like this? Or can I let go and let it be? Allowing, oh my gosh. Allowing opens a door so we can show up for our life and give it the attention it needs. Take anxiousness, for example. Don't raise your hand, but has anybody ever been anxious before? And imagine this is a feeling you've known a lot in your life. And when it shows up, you try to resist it now that you're spiritual. Oh, I can't be anxious. Oh, I can't be judgmental. So we try to resist it. Well, think about through let it be that you actually turn your attention toward it. And again, you're just curious about what you're experiencing that is causing you to feel anxious. Oh, look at that. This is making me anxious. Isn't that interesting? Just be curious. And if you stay with that exploration and ask open-ended questions long enough, it's going to let go. And we've been so trained, I don't know about you, but we've been so trained to resist and control life, and that we can instead say, I choose to be with this feeling. I just choose to be with it. Tell me about yourself, this feeling, and let it be. The third is let it go. Just let it go. These are all very similar. You'll probably hear. It's like, well, that one is the same thing. Well, they're subtle. And let it go is a place where we soften around those clouds and spells. And again, just simply let it pass through us. So again, take that feeling of anxiousness. And let's say you explored it through let it be. You just see a pattern of belief that was conditioned inside of you, that every time you see a red light, you get upset. And then you're able to say, wow, this is just anxiousness, and I just don't need to tighten it all around it and be upset about it. And I'm not really interested in following this storyline anymore. So I'm just simply going to let it go and bring my attention back to my center. A little bit of unhooking from our old stories goes a long way. But it takes practice. It takes compassionate curiosity to let it go. Take a breath. And the fourth one is let go. And this brings us to the joy of just relaxing into life. And here we can remember to stay open rather than trying to just control and manipulate. We see that the great river of life has been flowing and unfolding long before we came here. And we realize that life happens. Life happens. Shift happens. Shift happens. So does the other one. So we become witnesses to life as it unfolds. Let go. Let God. Let go. Let good. Let go. Let love. Let go. Let peace. Let go and let it flow. Take a breath. I know it sounds simple, and it is. Smile. You're on life's camera. Every moment. You know, I'm really learning a lot about flow right now. And letting go. Some days I'm stronger than others, but I also acknowledge that I'm exactly where I need to be at that moment. And some things will trigger me into deep sadness and crying and wailing, which I've never really experienced before. Wailing is a new experience for me. If you've never experienced wailing, I don't highly advise it, but it's a good cleanse. It's a good cleansing. So one thing that I love to do is go down to the Bear River. I used to live in Weimar, and the Bear River has this just wonderful, easy place you can get down to the water. And after everyone last week, you know, I had a busy week last week, and after all the families left, I was by myself. And I knew that I needed to get to the water, so I went up to Colfax. I dropped my brother off at the Colfax train station. He was taking the train to Denver. And I brought my chair, my beach chair, and I went down to the Bear River, and I know this little spot that's kind of in the shade right along the river. And I just sat with my feet in the cold water, listened to the water. I meditated a little bit, and then I did a mini cold plunge. I got into about here, because it was really cold. And it's not very deep there, so you have to kind of squat. And it was just so rejuvenating, and it just reminded me of the healing power of not only water, but in Mother Nature in general. And I truly felt like I was in the flow. I was allowing flow. So this week, you each have an opportunity to remember to live from your unity consciousness, your divine center, your I of center, and to listen to your own quiet path, whatever that is. Knowing that within the hectic and ever-changing back and forth of life, the ups and downs, the waves, you're learning to surf. As you're learning to surf, you're in always the divine embrace. God is always there. And you are never, ever separate from life itself. Remember when needed to simply take a moment to pause what you're doing, observe your thoughts, notice what you're noticing, be curious, and just remember who you are. The flow of the divine as oneness. And you are not an expression of the divine, you are the divine in expression. I'm going to say that again. You are not an expression of the divine, you are the divine in expression. And so it is.